Welcome back. In this episode, I'm going to be discussing Derek Mason and why he is such a solid hire for Auburn and for Bryan Harsin. Before we start, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel if you've not already done so. Let's get right into it. Since Bryan Harsin was introduced as head coach for Auburn on December 24th, rumors have been swirling about who his potential assistant coaches could be and who his picks are going to be. And I think the most talked about picks are for his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. And so in this video, I'm specifically talking about his defensive coordinator. And the two names that kept popping up throughout this whole process, the two names that I kept seeing come up in message boards and on sports websites were these two names, Del McKee out of Georgia and Derek Mason from Vanderbilt. When I heard both of these names, honestly, both of them made me pretty excited for Auburn. I would have been happy with either one. I think that personally, I'm more excited about Derek Mason, and I'm going to get into some of those details as to why he is such an exciting hire later in this video. Let's start by talking about his experience. I've already seen a bunch of people out there trying to say that Derek Mason is a bad pick, which I'm going to go ahead right out of the gate and say I disagree with that. The reason some of these clowns on message boards are saying this is a bad pick is because of Derek Mason's record this past season in 2020 at Vanderbilt. He ended up going 0-9 or 0-10 in the regular season this year. I think it was 0-9 in the SEC. And because of that, they assume he is a bad pick for Auburn. And I frankly disagree with that. Was he the best head coach? Probably not. But at the same time, he was coaching at Vandy, which if you get the head coaching job at Vandy, you're kind of set up for failure as it is. I'm not getting into why I think that, but I do think you're kind of set up for failure if you become the head coach at Vanderbilt. And if I'm being honest, yes, his head coaching stats overall, I think I mentioned they're not terrific. Some point to one that season I just mentioned, the 0-9 in the SEC, and others point to his overall record while he was at Vanderbilt. If you look at this article from AL.com, let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so if you look at this article from AL.com, this is the one that they wrote today about Auburn hiring Derek Mason. If you scroll down a little into this article, you're going to see it mentions something a lot of people have brought up, and that was Mason's record while he was at Vandy. Mason was just 27-55 in his 7 seasons at Vanderbilt as head coach. And so, no, that is not the best record. I can't defend that. But if you look a little further, I think there's a little more to the story. That very next sentence, it says, however, the Commodores have only had 6 seasons with 6 or more wins since 1982. Only 6 seasons. And 2 of those came under Mason. So while he did not have the best record at Vanderbilt, 2 out of those 6 seasons that had 6 or more wins came under his term. So I think that says something. Vanderbilt it's a hard school to win at for a number of reasons. But I think you got to give it to him. Even though 27-55 is bad, he did okay. This past season was awful, but let's take this past season out of the equation, look at what he's done, and then really what's more interesting to me than his record as head coach is how he did as defensive coordinator at Stanford. So let's go ahead and take a look at his record while he was at Stanford. All right, so there's 2 seasons I want to look at with Derek Mason while he was at Stanford. And those 2 seasons are 2012 and 2013 while he was the defensive coordinator. In 2012, if I look over here, I'm going to click on Pac-12 and total defense. You knew what I meant. Total defense for the Pac-12, and who do you see right at the top? Stanford. So he had his team in defense right at the top of the conference. Now, how does that stack up against all the other teams in the nation? We can go ahead and flip over and look at that as well. So if I go back up here, I'm going to flip, and this is once again for the year 2012. We're going to continue. We'll keep that on total. Flip it to all conferences. And you can see that year Alabama was at the top. And Stanford is not at the top right here. They are a little further down, but there's a little more to this story. So total defense is not fantastic. It's still great. But if we change this to rushing, I just want you to see where they fall in rushing defense in 2012. Change it to rushing, and boom, there they are. They pop up to number 5. You've got Alabama, BYU, FSU, Florida, and then Stanford. So he was really putting in a lot of work and doing a good job that year. Now I want to flip it to 2013 because that's the other year he was at Stanford as defensive coordinator. So I'll go ahead and flip it back to total and 2013. And then you're going to notice something a little different when I do this. And I'm sorry, I forgot to go back to Pac-12. Pac-12. And this time they're not at the very top, but you're going to notice they're still number 2, so they're still doing well. But if I now flip it to all conferences and rushing, number 3 is Stanford. So I think one thing we need to take note of is this guy knows how to handle a rushing defense, and I think he's going to do amazing things at Auburn. I think we should be excited about this. And really, that year I showed you first, 2012, it was a good year for him. He was that year, he was one of 5 or 6 finalists for the Broyles Award. And it was Derek Mason. I can't remember who won that year. If you know, drop that down in the comments. I had that earlier and just forgot it. But Derek Mason, and then there was another name that appeared that same year in 2012 as a top assistant coach in the country, and that name is Mike Bobo. We'll talk about him later in another video, but I just wanted to throw that out there while I'm talking about it. But I think that shows you he knows what he's talking about. He's going to be a good coach, and I think this is someone we should be excited about as Auburn fans. And the final reason I think we should be excited about Derek Mason as our defensive coordinator is he's going to bring something to the table that Brian Harsin does not, and that's he is familiar with the South, and he's familiar with recruiting in the South. So he's definitely going to help us out in that department. And we'll talk a little more about recruiting in another video, but I think that's just another positive that Derek Mason is going to bring to the table. He's been recruiting in the South since 2014, so he's already got ties down here, and I think that's only going to help Coach Harsin out as they're getting their teams together, as they start recruiting. This is going to be a good thing for Coach Harsin's team. And finally, I want to leave you with a little Derek Mason hype video that I found on YouTube. I know this is for Vanderbilt. I get that, but I think it is just going to show you the type of person he is, the type of excitement he's going to bring to Auburn and to Brian Harsin's team. And this is somebody we should be excited about. So I'm going to leave you with this. Make sure before you go, if you haven't, go ahead and like this video for me. Let's go ahead and watch this video of Coach Mason.
Because they ain't giving it to you. You be humble. You be committed. But you be humble. And here's what you got to do, man. You got to be fearless. Fearless in terms of how you approach this game. And you got to be reckless in terms of how you play the game. You got to play like a champion today. No doubt. No doubt about that. But more than anything else, you don't forget it. I'm telling you, as sure as you're standing here, all you got to do is commit to something. Every play, just give your best, and your best is good enough. It always has been. You got to be willing, man, to step into the ring and blow for blow, just throw punches. Just throw punches. Play after play after play after play. You got to be fearless, man. You got to be an animal. You got to be malicious. I don't feel like I got a chip on my shoulder. I feel like I got a tractor on my back. People don't give you respect. You got to go take it. The night is coming. The fog is rolling in, and it's time to put on the night goggles. Let these dudes feel who you are. Let them remember your name. Make them say your name. The very ground you stand on is hollow. They have to understand, coming into this place is doomed from the get-go.
how do you not get pumped watching that guy? I'm excited about him coming to Auburn. I think he's just going to excite our players, and I think he's going to be a really good coach for Brian Harsin. My next video, I'm planning on focusing on Mike Bobo. So if you've made it this far in the video and you'd like to tell me what you think about our offensive coordinator hire, just please drop that down in the comments below. And if you're good with me possibly using that comment in a video, please just type "Hey Chase," something like that, so I know you're good with it. And then let me know what you think about the Mike Bobo hire. I'm going to try to add another section, another segment in the next video where I feature some subscriber comments. So if you're interested in participating in that, just drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on Mike Bobo. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you in the next one.